welcome to Week 12 of Football Friday Night. I'm Dave Siseski. He's Tony Quach. Dylan Tyson will join us later in the show. Tony, we've covered over 96 teams thus far through 12 weeks of Football Friday Night, but after tonight, only about a dozen or so remain.
That's right, Dave. The field will thin out even more tonight as our local teams look to punch their ticket to the Sweet 16 round. So we'll start things off down in the Miami Valley. Unfortunately, the Lima Senior Spartans season comes to an end with a 42-15 loss on the road. The Spartans had the game tied up late in the second quarter, but Troy came out on top with a dominating second half. It was a memorable season for first-year head coach Bill Lawrence and the Spartans as they captured the Toledo City League title in their inaugural season.
Well, in 2021, the Lima Central Catholic ended Crestview's season with a 13-7 playoff win. Now, after a down year, first-year Knights head coach Cole Harding has his team back in the postseason, facing the Thunderbirds on a 5-game win streak. Second quarter, LCC up 2-0 after a safety and looking for more, as Carson Parker is going to take it up the gut for a 3-yard touchdown run. Lead extended now to 9-0. Ensuing drive, though, for the Knights when Bryson Penix hands off to Isaac Klein, who makes a hard cut inside and takes it into the end zone. Crestview cuts the deficit to 9-8 after the 2-point conversion. Same score, just under a minute left in the half when Knight, defensive back here, Hunter Jones jumps in front of a pass and makes the house call all the way back for the pick six. Crestview takes the lead back 14-9, but then Lawson Flores with the field kick here, weaves in and out of traffic and bursts the speed down the sideline there, takes it all the way for the touchdown. Flores with the unbelievable score gives LCC back the lead. They go on to win 44-28 and move on to play the winner of our next game.
Continuing on with the action in Division 7, Region 26, the Macomb Panthers welcome in Eden to Doc Miller Field. This is a rematch of last year's opening round showdown where the Panthers stomped on Eden 57-3. In the first, Macomb leads 7-0. Braxton Althauser breaks through the defense, and he finds his way home. Panthers now lead 14-0. To the second quarter, Macomb leads by 21. It's Raiden Shoup taking the handoff, and he heads into the end zone for the score. Panthers now lead 28-0. Later on in the half, it's Althauser again with the ball, and he has a clear path to the end zone. Can he go all the way? Ladies and gentlemen, yes, he can. Macomb rolls to a 57-0 win. They'll meet LCC next week in the regional semifinals. Now we send it over to Dylan Tyson with more action from Region 26.
Thanks, Tony. Last week, Arlington was just one game removed from a 30-0 loss, and as the 13 seed trailed by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter against 9-1 Antwerp. But the Red Devils rallied for 3 late scores to win in the final moments, and now they're faced with the 5 seed, Patrick Henry. The odds are once again stacked against Arlington. They haven't won a regional quarterfinal game since 2016. And in these teams' only 21st century meeting, the Patriots earned a 26-14 victory 4 years ago. But the Red Devils' first possession is a success. On their second snap, Aiden Cavany breaks free 39 yards for an Arlington touchdown. They go up 7-0. But Patrick Henry will answer in the second quarter. Quarterback Lincoln Krager calls his own number and takes it 29 yards to cap off the touchdown drive. They still trail by 1, though, after a failed 2-point conversion. Arlington, however, will expand upon that lead. Cavany again, this time on the pitch, cuts through the second level, brought down after breaking the plane, and the Red Devils lead 14-6. But that's when the Patriot offense gets rolling. Krager rolls out to pass, can't find anybody, so he takes it himself, reaching over the goal line. They go to the locker room down 12-14, but carry that momentum to a 40-14 win. They take on the winner of tonight's final Region 26 game. Pandora Gilboa faces former conference rivals Hopewell Loudon, who beat the Rockets twice during their 2015 to 2017 BBC stint. Now, PG had scored 14 or more points in 32 straight games coming into tonight, but for the 8th time this season, the Chieftains hold their foe below 14 points, breaking the Rockets' streak. Pandora Gilboa looks to cut into Hopewell Loudon's 33-3 lead late in the game, but it's another interception, and the Chieftains win their 10th straight home game, 33-3.
Thanks, Dylan. We now turn our attention over to Division 7, Region 28. We got an all-MAC quarterfinal showdown between Minster and New Bremen. The Wildcats and the Cardinals meet in our Football Friday Night Spotlight game.
Tonight's Football Friday Night Spotlight game is brought to you by Citizens National Bank.
When the Cardinals and the Wildcats met earlier this season, Minster came out on top, 40 14. The Wildcats have won 7 of their last 8 games coming into tonight. We'll pick things up in the third. Minster leads 27-0. James Niemeyer hits a cutting Cole Albers. Albers brings it to the 35-yard line before he's pushed out of bounds. And the drive continues. Niemeyer breaks out of the pocket. He looks and hits Cole Richard, and the junior moves the chains for Minster. And the scoring drive would be capped off with this short rush by Connor Schmeezing. Minster goes up 33-0. New Bremen has the ball now, and they decide to take to the skies. But Schmeezy says, no, with that interception, he lets them know whose game this is. Minster rolls to a 33-7 win.
Sticking with the action, we head to Maria Stein where the undefeated Flyers battle the Cedarville Indians. The Flyers do put their 43-game winning streak on the line tonight. Flyers would score early and often in this one, though. Here they open up the scoring as Ethan Heitkamp runs it up the gut for the touchdown. 7-0 Flyers, and there would be more. Still in the first quarter, and Drew Louse is going to take the carry as he escapes the first tackler, and that was all it took to spring him free for the 55-yard touchdown run. Flyers lead now extended to 14-0. How about a little trickery? This time from Marion Locals, Justin Knopf with a toss to Kyle Otte, who was in motion, and he takes it straight to the end zone. Lead extended 21-0. Like a well-oiled machine, the offense for the Flyers flying high all night as Louse takes the carry, and he would go 63 yards for another score. Flyers win 69-0. They move on to play Minster in the regional semifinals.
We got a battle of the Redskins in Shelby County. Fort Loramie welcomes in St. Henry. This is a rematch of last year's opening round battle between the two. Fort Loramie came out on top, 43-20. In the second, Charlie Werling decides to let it fly. On the other end is Jared Neatfeld. That reception puts St. Henry in the red zone. No pun intended. Later on in the drive, Fort Loramie's defense comes up clutch. Damian Bruns and Brock McCumber stops this Redskin in his tracks. St. Henry would get a field goal to lead 3-0. We're still in the second. Werling with the ball once more. He fires a beautiful spiral to Hayden Beckman, and that puts St. Henry in prime position for the score. And this drive would be capped off by Werling, who breaks free from the defense, and just like that, St. Henry leads 10-0. They go on to win 16-8, and they'll play Ansonia in the regional semifinals next week. We need to take our first break on Football Friday night. When we return, we have action from Division 6 and Division 5. Catch Columbus Grove, Bluffton, Versailles, and Coldwater after the break.
Welcome back. 2 local teams remain in D6 Region 22, and we saw both games featuring these NWC rivals who are the top seeds in the bracket. First, number 1, Columbus Grove. The Bulldogs are seeking their 8th straight win, and they haven't lost a home game since 2021. They're hosting the Black River Pirates, the team they beat in the opening round last season. Grove leads 19-6 after halftime, but Black River is threatening. And on 4th down, they fake the punt, but right there to make the stop is Loudon Auchmoody. Turnover on downs, and the ensuing drive is capped off by a 3-yard QB keeper for Landon Best. Grove extends their lead 27-6. Pirates searching for answers, but the pass is tipped and picked off by Grant Eversole. Bulldogs can't make anything happen on offense, though, so how about one more pick for good measure? This time, it's Zach Reynolds jumping the route to give CG the ball, and into the 4th quarter now. The Bulldogs put their final points on the board. It's Best again, breaking a tackle to put the nail in the coffin. Grove wins 38-6 to play Cary in next week's semifinal. The number 2 seed in Region 22 is Bluffton. The Pirates making their deepest run since 2004 when an undefeated season was cut short in Week 12. Well, 19 years later to the week, they look to redeem themselves, hosting Winford. And the Pirates are kicking off to start the game, and the Bluffton defense forces a 3-and-out. So senior Braden Jordan fields the ensuing punt, and off he goes. 40-plus yard return back past the original line of scrimmage, sets the Pirates up in excellent position for their very first snap. The end around goes to Gavin Bogart, and from 13 yards out, it's a 7-0 lead after Bluffton's only play on offense. Winford looking to answer. On 2nd down, the Royals roll out to pass, but Quinichis climbs the ladder and says, "I'll take that." Snatches the INT to put the Pirates back on O. And then 3 plays later, Landon Worcester fights through the pile, emerging for what would be a 57-yard TD. 4 plays, 14 Pirate points. Bluffton wins 38-0 to play Ottawa Hills in their first Week 13 game of the century. They're edging closer to a possible rematch with Grove.
The Versailles Tigers meet the Twin Valley South Panthers in a rematch of last year's regional quarterfinals. The Tigers put a stomping on the Panthers, 58-7 in 2022. Versailles strikes first. Joel Garrett trucks his way into the end zone, and the Tigers take an early 7-0 lead. Twin Valley looking to take a shot in the end zone. A.J. Griesdorn rises up and picks off the pass to force a turnover. And just like that, the Tigers take over. Late in the first, for Sales knocking on the door to score, Lane Berkman takes the jet sweep and cuts across to make it a 21-0 Tigers lead, and they continue to add on. Aaron Bowling bowls his way into the end zone for 6 more. Tigers lead 28-0. They go on to win 41-8 and will play Cincinnati Country Day in the regional semifinal next week. One more score from Division 6, Region 24. Anna wins on the road in a huge upset against top-seeded Williamsburg. 52-28 is the final. They'll play Tri-Village in the next round next Friday.
Over to Region 18 with the Max Coldwater Cavaliers coming to action fresh off a dominant 47-0 shutout victory over the Indian Lake Lakers tonight. Their opponent, the Archbold Blue Streaks. First quarter, Coldwater with the possession. Balin Blockberger sits back and finds A.J. Harlemer wide open for the easy score. Coldwater goes up 7-0 to open up the scoring. Coldwater still up 7-0. Archbold QB Cade Brenner trying to even up the score. He tries to scramble, gets out of the pocket tackled though by Jack Ebing for the sack, and eventually they would get a touchdown to tie things up. But check this out. Score tied at 7. A.J. Harlemer settles under the ball, runs to the right side, goes to the middle of the field and practically goes untouched, cuts across the field there. He's going to go all the way in for the long touchdown. Coldwater with the immediate answer. They go up 14-7 with 1:33 left. And then they go on to beat Archbold 28-14. They move on to play Edison. It's time for our last break on Football Friday night, but when we return, catch action from the St. Mary's Rough Riders and the Van Wert Cougars. Playoff football highlights continue after the break.
Welcome back. In Division 4, the St. Mary's Rough Riders have turned their fortunes around after Week 4. Tonight, they make the long trek to Sandusky to battle the undefeated Perkins Pirates. St. Mary's is fresh off a 42-14 win against Wauseon. The Rough Riders put their 7-game winning streak on the line against the Pirates. We're going to be scoreless in the first quarter. On 4th down, Coy Mabry gets the pigskin, and he goes up the gut, and there was nothing but end zone ahead. 46 yards later, St. Mary's leads 7-0. It's a tie game in the second quarter. Mabry again with the touchdown run up the middle. It's a second score for this Rough Rider, and St. Mary's leads by 7. Just 1 second left in the half. Dominic Osborne takes the handoff and he punches it in for 6 more, but St. Mary's would fall 28-21, ending their season.
Well, after starting the season 3-3, the Van Wert Cougars are on a 5-game winning streak, fresh off a 48-30 win over River Valley. They take on Shelby on the road tonight, jumping into the action. Cougars trailing by a point in the first. Brylan Parker drops back and airs it out to Connor Campbell for the long score. Cougars lead 13-6 on the air raid. Following drive, Cougars on the 33. Campbell double team and still snags it in for the long touchdown grab. Doesn't matter. Strike the pose. Cougars regain the lead 20-14. Second quarter, 1st and goal. Cougars punch it in. Brylan Parker keeps it himself up the middle for the touchdown. Cougars back on top 27-21. But in the shootout, Van Wert falls as Shelby takes this one 71-41 over the Cougars, ending their season. And Wapakoneta with the 42-7 win over Butler tonight. Their incredible run continues as they'll play Baden next week on a 10-game win streak, wrapping up in Region 12. Salina with the 41-35 win as they move on to play Tippecanoe. And in Division 3, Region 1-11, Tavian St. Clair leads Bellefontaine to a 35-28 upset win over London and advance to fight another Friday as they'll play Granville next week.
Our final highlights of the night come out of D3 Region 10. Defiance has a daunting task against Toledo Central Catholic, the reigning state champs, who in Division 2 moved down to Division 3 this season. But the Bulldogs don't back down as it's a toss to Garrett Rodenberger, and Rodenberger then goes deep to Cohen Stockman. The Bulldogs tie the game up in the first quarter, 7-7. Later in the first, Defiance back to playing from behind, down by just 7. Brett Zipfel rolls out to his right and unloads the cannon, connects with Rodenberger, and the Dogs are right in this game, 14 all. To the second quarter, the shootout continues, 21-14, and Zipfel around the outside and up the sideline. He'll take it in himself. Bulldogs trail 20-21, but the Irish run away with it, 41-26.
And that's all the time we have tonight. That's how we wrap up the show. Appreciate everybody that watches and everybody that helps get this show on the air.
We'll have plenty more local coverage tomorrow. Thank you again for tuning in.
Have a great night, everybody.